The film starts with a little girl, one, collecting grasshoppers in a jar in the woods outside the cabin she is staying in with her fathers Eric and Andrew. One is approached by a large man, Leonard, who tries to come off as friendly toward her, even joining in catching grasshoppers. Leonard tells one that he is there to do something that he will regret. 3 other people, Sabrina, Adrian, and Redmond, emerge from the woods armed with large sharp weapons, prompting one to run back toward the cabin. One goes to warn Eric and Andrew about the strangers outside. Leonard knocks on the door and tells Eric and Andrew that they are there for a task and need to speak to them directly. The guys begin to grow nervous, and the family begins locking the doors and windows. The group then begins to break into the house through the windows. Eric gets into an altercation with Sabrina, where he falls and loses consciousness. Andrew fights and beats Redmond hard. The 4 end up subduing the family, but Sabrina tends to Eric's wound. A brief flashback shows Eric and Andrew meeting Andrew's parents, and the silence indicates that the 2 are not comfortable with their son's sexuality, unlike Eric's mother. While Andrew is disappointed since they left after 45 minutes, despite a 7-hour drive, Eric promises they will always be together. Eric and Andrew are tied up, and the group puts on cartoons to comfort one. Eric is concussed and complains about sensitivity to light and a lack of vision, which Sabrina tries to help with. When everything is settled, the group begins to introduce themselves and their backgrounds. Leonard is a kid's basketball coach, Sabrina is a nurse, Adrian is a line cook, and Redmond works in sanitation. Leonard explains his and the group's presence. The 4 of them have been seeing visions of apocalyptic events, and the family has been chosen to deliver a sacrifice to ensure humanity's survival. If the family fails to choose, the catastrophic events will end up coming true. They are also told that they cannot commit suicide to spare their loved ones. Eric and Andrew are adamant about not wanting to sacrifice anyone. The group then says that humanity is being judged. As the sun reflects off a mirror in Eric's direction, Sabrina steps in front for him, but he appears to see something in the reflection. Redmond steps forward and puts a white mask over his head before Sabrina and Adrian stick their weapons in his head before Leonard decapitates him. Another flashback shows Eric and Andrew when they first adopted one. She was born with a cleft palate but had surgery to fix it. Back in the present, Leonard turns on the TV to show the family about the events that have transpired thus far. There have been powerful earthquakes and tsunamis occurring in some parts of the world, leading to many fatalities. Andrew believes that they are being targeted for being a gay couple, as he recognizes Redmond as the man who assaulted him at a bar once. But the group insists that they are not there for that reason. One attempts to escape through the basement, but Leonard catches up to her and brings her back to the house. The next morning, Adrian cooks breakfast for one. When it comes time for the family to choose again, Adrian steps up to plead her case. She tells them that she has a son named Charlie, and in her visions, she has repeatedly seen his death and cannot stop hearing his screams. She begs the guys to think about that in their decision, but Andrew still tells them no. Leonard and Sabrina beat and decapitate Adrian. They then put on the news, which is reporting on the spread of a deadly virus that affects children. Andrew notices the report is pre-recorded and that he has been reading about the virus for months, giving him further reason to suspect that the group is lying to them. Andrew tells Eric that his hands are loosening from their binds, so he might have a chance to break free. One sneaks Eric a knife, and he gives her a heads up to do something when she is instructed to. Leonard and Sabrina attempt to persuade Eric and Andrew again, but Eric has one throw a tantrum to distract the other 2, allowing Eric to cut himself free and giving Andrew an opportunity to run to the car where he tries to get his gun. Sabrina injures his leg, but he throws dirt in her face and runs into the car. As he tries to load the gun, she tries to break in and lightly stabs him in the side, but he fires his gun and forces Sabrina to drop her weapon. Another flashback shows the attack at the bar with a man that looks vaguely like Redmond, with a bigger beard, and he was said to have been imprisoned, which led to him training in self-defense and buying a gun. After making it back to the cabin, Andrew threatens Leonard but is startled when Sabrina runs in, causing him to shoot her. After she dies, Leonard beheads her. Andrew also grabs Redmond's wallet from his body and confirms that he was indeed his attacker, a man named Rory O'Bannon. Andrew orders Leonard to go into the bathroom at gunpoint, with the intention of taking the vehicle that the group arrived in and using it to return home since they slashed the family's car's tires. After a few minutes, Leonard breaks the bathroom window, leading the guys to think that he is escaping to the vehicle to leave them stranded. Andrew opens the bathroom and shoots into the shower, but Leonard still manages to attack him despite being shot in the arm. After a brief struggle, Leonard disarms Andrew and makes the guys turn the TV back on. Hundreds of airlines around the world begin to experience failures, causing thousands of planes to suddenly crash from the sky all around the world. Leonard speaks the same lines as the anchorwoman, making Andrew believe that everything was rehearsed. Leonard brings Eric and Andrew outside and tells them that they have one last chance to prevent more disasters from happening. Eric tells Wynn to hide in a treehouse until someone goes to get her. When it becomes clear they still aren't choosing, Leonard tells them they will only have a few minutes to stop it before it's too late, and he slits his throat. A powerful storm begins forming, with lightning hitting the ground and various trees, and more planes falling from the sky. The guys go back inside the house. Eric tells Andrew about the figure he saw in the sun's reflection, and he admits that he has begun to believe that the group's visions were true. He noticed that they each represented aspects of humanity. Redmond was malice, Adrian was nourishment, Sabrina was health, and Leonard was guidance. They were the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and their deaths were necessary. When Eric seems ready to be the one to make the sacrifice, Andrew argues with him, saying humanity is not worth saving because they hate and reject people like him and Eric. Eric then tells Andrew of a vision he saw of a world that continues to live on, and how Andrew grows old and continues to be close to Wynn, and how she has found a career she is proud of and someone who loves her as much as she loves them. With this, Eric finds his peace and takes Andrew's hand so he can shoot himself. After Andrew mourns his husband, he goes to get Wynn from the treehouse. The two walk until they find the truck that Leonard's group came in. In the back seat, Andrew finds items proving that the group, barring Redmond, really were who they said they were. Leonard really was a beloved coach, Sabrina was a nurse, and he also finds a picture of Adrian with Charlie. Andrew drives with Wynn to a diner, where people are gathered to see the news of the disasters winding down. Planes have landed safely and the death toll from the virus has slowed down. Andrew and Wynn later leave together toward an uncertain future.